Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker. Thank you for joining us, however you may be joining us. You know, it's one of those times in life where we look back and we think about what it is that we've learned, whom it is that taught us that, and the impact of those things. Listen, I can tell you as a social worker, and one of the things that was important to me growing up is where I went to school. So I got my first degrees at Nicholls State University, but I went to Southern University at New Orleans. And I was introduced to some of the most amazing people who were about action and about doing things. And that's why I'm so excited to have joining us today, Chanel Talbert. Welcome to the program. Appreciate you being here. Sitting next to him, his brother, Vernell Talbert. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And so, you know, guys, it's just one of those things, and a lot of people don't know, and some of my friends tease me, John Navy, and some of the people in our area, that, you know, I went to Southern University at New Orleans, and it is a primarily black institution, but I want to tell you that I learned more about taking care of your community from the people that went to school there than I ever did at any other point in my life. So I kind of want to learn a little bit about you guys. So tell me a little bit about your history growing up, where y'all grew up, and some of the, who's older?
I'm the oldest.
Oldest, okay, very good. Any other siblings?
Yeah, we have a couple of other brothers and sisters.
Okay,
and stuff.
all right, I got you.
We have a large family.
Very good. See, that was just one of those things. The reason I asked that question, and the reason I ask it when we're on TV, is because it's obvious that you guys have a good family network.
Yes.
You know, but where'd y'all grow up?
Thibodeau.
In Thibodeau.
We grew up primarily in Thibodeau.
Okay.
Moved around a couple times. Stayed in Dallas a little while, but New Orleans. But our primary growth happened in Thibodeau.
All right, growing up here. Okay, very good. So I know Dad has been really involved in this project for some time. Tell us a little bit about Dad. Now, I don't want to embarrass him or anything, but I know y'all are some pride about that. Talk to us about Dad.
You know, he's a very, very important person in our life, and he's good at what he do.
Okay.
I mean, you know, from the scholarships, he's, you know, we had over $200,000 worth of scholarships.
Wow.
In 12 years, just by himself. He's done a lot.
Wow.
You know, a lot of people don't know, but he's done a lot.
Okay.
And that's within a 12-year span. That's like the most that I've heard of. You know.
Right.
You know, with the NAACP,
right.
Him as president.
Okay, and so your dad, who is senior, right?
He's Burnell Senior.
Burnell Senior. Okay,
correct,
gotcha.
correct.
Okay,
yeah.
And so he, through the NAACP, has given out $200,000.
Over $200,000.
Over $200,000 scholarships in 12 years.
Yeah, and that's a lot of kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And making a difference for those kids. You know, it's just one of those things where I always like people to understand that organizations who are trying to make a difference for other people, those kids wouldn't be the same. I bet every single one of them that came on would talk about the difference and the impact that made for them.
I mean, it was good because, I mean, that's money that they use for college.
Okay.
All of them was college students.
Right. Okay.
And we know how much college can be today and how draining it could be financially. So, you know, any little bit we're helping, you know, we do our part.
Well, listen, I know some people that went, you know, I went to school a long time ago, but finishing in 1990, 1991, who are still paying off their student loans.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
You know, so for your dad, who is with the NAACP, and for you guys and your involvement and working with him, y'all have decided to do MLK Day.
Yeah,
and to celebrate that. Now, we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but I'd kind of like to know, when did Dad get a chance to introduce you to who Martin Luther King was, or where'd y'all learn about him, Martin Luther King Jr.?
Well, coming up, you know, we always had primary, predominantly important black figures, portraits in our house and stuff like that. And one of them was MLK.
Okay.
There was others,
Malcolm X,
Wallace D. Muhammad, a couple other different people.
Right.
So we learned from a broad spectrum. So
gotcha.
But as far as MLK was concerned, you know, school, church. We was always active in the community. We've been doing MLK marches for
I mean,
since we could.
To be honest with you, we've been in the NAACP since we were what?
Man, maybe
8, 9.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We started off with the youth chapter.
Exposed to that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And y'all did a youth chapter of that.
Yeah, we was in the youth
chapter.
chapter.
Vice president of the youth.
It's in our DNA.
Well, I don't think a lot of people realize that those are options.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So even at the very young age of under 10, you guys understood the importance of celebrating who you are, celebrating your culture, and being able to be a part of an organization that wants to give back
Correct.
and help other people.
Right.
What are some of the things that y'all got to do? We're going to wrap up this segment here shortly, but at 8 or 9, what are some of the things y'all would do with that youth organization, NAACP?
It's like I say, it's in our DNA. We started off from giving back to, to helping people out.
Community cleanups.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Clean up in the community.
I mean, this is at 8 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's in there.
Yeah. Did you get voluntold a couple of times? Yeah. Or did you? Look, we all got voluntold when we were younger, right?
Right.
But that's just one of those things. But it's awfully important. The only thing that I can kind of relate that to is that my parents used to teach parenting. They used to teach other parents how to be better parents, and we were kind of their guinea pigs about how to show them family meetings, Sunday dinners. Like you didn't decide anything individually. The kids always had a vote, but it allowed me to get involved in that.
But I wouldn't even call it guinea pigs or voluntold. I would think it was more than modeling.
Okay.
You know, the behavior.
They showed you the way to do things.
Right.
Celebrating this day is awfully important. But it's important about what we do each and every day. And we were talking a little bit about what we learned and how we learned it. Y'all talked about the modeling. And so Mom and Dad obviously did a good job of helping to model you guys about getting involved and doing that. I've only been on one march my entire life. I don't know how many you guys have been involved in.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot. Countless marches.
Right.
Wow.
And I encourage everybody to come out and join us.
Voice heard, right?
Yeah. And that's really what it's going to be about. We want to let people know it's an event, but it's about the march too. When's the first march you ever went to, Chanel? Tell me.
As long as I can remember. I mean, as long as I was.
So y'all, they probably brought y'all before you can remember going.
Right. I might have been in a stroller or something.
Yeah.
But
They were walking, you were strolling.
We've always been involved. Like I say, it's rooted deep, and like he was saying, that runs in our house. The modeling, the molding, teaching us about Dr. King, about the march, what it means to us. He played a big part in how we was coming up and how we see things.
Okay. Kind of shaped your view.
Correct. That day is supposed to be a day of giving back. That's what Dr. King said.
Yes.
Make this a day of giving.
Right.
So
not a day off.
Right. Not a day off.
Yeah, it's a day to do more. It's not a day to do less.
So I like to challenge people. So
okay.
Like hey, Dr. King said.
You got
right.
You got hundreds of thousands of people that you get to challenge. So Chanel, I'm gonna tell you, go ahead.
I would like to challenge everyone to do something nice that day. I mean, it should be in here anyway, but that day, I would like to challenge everybody just to do something nice, an act of kindness.
Wow.
You see a little kid in the store, give them $5, let them buy something, or go cut some grass, go do something nice for someone.
Listen, it can be as simple as pay for the person behind you in line if they're picking up something or getting something, right? And so, Vernell, brother got to tell us a little bit about it. Tell us about when you really started to understand the value of what marching can do and what it can be for you and your community.
Well, I marched. It was kind of a run-of-the-mill thing. It wasn't until I was much older until I understood a lot of it. I actually lived in D.C. for a long time, and they used to have these big MLK events.
There's some really large events in Washington, D.C.
So I had this quote that I just wanted to read from Dr. King.
Okay.
And it says, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moment of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at the time of challenge and controversy." So that kind of summed it up for me, like Martin Luther King went everywhere they said he shouldn't and everywhere they said he would be killed. but he was so convicted on what he was doing, like none of that mattered. And to me, that sums up the life of a man. You know what I'm saying, with a purpose.
He didn't take the easy route.
Didn't take the easy route.
No.
Didn't take the easy route at all.
Quite interestingly, as here we are dealing with COVID, and we'll talk about some of the things we're going to keep safe with this March, but dealing with COVID, dealing with this major hurricane that came through and devastated people, maybe this time is a time for us to sit back and say, all right, it's been challenging times. That's when people step up.
Right. You can't fold in these times.
Yeah.
Right.
So
interesting. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
that.
And that's when it really kind of clicked for me. Like, he was a man with a purpose.
Right.
And we all need to kind of walk in that path sometime, because we all gonna face some type of controversy, some type of conflict in your life. You got to stand up and face it, and just put your head down and go through it.
Yeah, I wonder if this particular writer of the movie Invincible ever really believed strongly, and probably did, said the character of a man is tested when he is up against it. And the coach tells his wife, oh no, man, this guy's got great character. She said, I wasn't talking about the player. She was talking about him as the coach who had to make a difficult decision.
Right.
But she was talking about character, and that's one of those things that Dr. King really taught, is about character and about how you hold yourself and what you do. And so I love the perspective, Chanel, about challenging people to be kind.
Right.
A random act of kindness. It's been one of my favorite things.
Costs nothing.
Yeah.
Costs nothing.
But look at the value that it gives.
Correct.
A $5 to a child in a store.
It goes a long way.
Yeah, it's a great example, and I think we've all thought about some of those things. I think we've thought about that. People stop at that thought process. I love the challenge that we want them to really step up and do that.
And I'm a firm believer of when you put out good, you get good back.
Right.
I mean, we've been giving back for a long time.
Right.
Through the NAACP.
And just on the strength of who we are,
Right.
Away from the NAACP organization, we just go, and if it's a need, we try to fill it,
Right.
And especially in the community. And so, Dad, I know, would be awfully proud, but he's been involved in this process a long time. But you guys are both the coordinator and assistant coordinator of the NAACP Martin Luther King Day event that's taking place on, of course, Martin Luther King Day, which is coming up on Monday. And so let's talk about the day. You guys have been planning this for some time. How long has it been taking to kind of come together?
Really, probably like a month.
Okay, very nice.
Like a month.
Very good. So let's talk about the day itself, what people can expect. And at 10 o'clock, it's going to start at MLK Park in Thibodaux, Louisiana. And then there's a march that's going to follow. But let's talk about what y'all be doing at 10.
We're going to start off with an essay.
Okay.
Well, right now, currently, if we're trying to get kids to write essays, because that's what we do.
Okay.
They turn in the essay, and they actually could get money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
From
we read the essay, the best essay. The first one starts
first place essay. We'll give them $100. Second place, $75. Third place, 50, and anybody else just participating, we got them coupons, maybe like a free burger or something like that.
Oh, very cool. So something for everybody that makes the effort and takes the effort to do that.
Correct.
And quite frankly, it's kind of an oratory about making sure that and it's about what Martin Luther King Day means to them.
Right.
Yeah.
His legacy and what it means to them.
Okay, very good. Okay, good.
So you can write the essay, and you can contact one of us.
Okay. Is it okay to give those numbers out?
Yeah.
Can we do that? All right, let's do that.
You can contact me, Chanel Talbot, 985-665-9600, or you can drop it off at Peaches Mini Mart in Thibodaux.
Okay.
1001 Plantation Road, Thibodaux. And we'll take the essays in.
Okay.
And we'll review them, and that day we'll go over it and
All right, and don't see who's first, second, and third.
And don't forget, the winners, we would like you to come to the march, of course, and read your essays.
Oh, terrific.
For everybody, for everybody else to enjoy.
Yeah, so to be a part of that platform, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, and again, we're teaching that next generation.
Right.
And learning from them as well, right?
Yeah, we're molding them just like we got molded.
Right. What a great representation.
The essay is about Black history, Martin Luther King,
right,
and all that stuff.
Sure.
So it, it's they're learning from it.
Right. And that's an outdoor event.
Outdoor event.
And so it's important for people to realize that.
Right. So, we got to follow the COVID protocols,
right,
masks and everything. We're going to have praise dancers there.
Okay.
We're going to have a guest speaker, Warden Cottrell Davis.
Okay.
Of Lafourche Parish.
Right.
Major Cottrell Davis.
Right.
So he's going to come give us a good inspirational speech. And any other dignitaries that would like to come out and just say a little something before we march.
Okay.
I mean, this event is open to anybody.
Sure.
Anybody and everybody.
Okay.
We want everybody to, feel comfortable coming to this.
Sure.
Right.
Well, we're going to be there.
Right.
So HTV's coming. Because we want people to know what it's about and how important it is. And so that'll take place from about 10 to 11. Right. And then tell me.
We appreciate y'all coming. Y'all always come and cover it.
Yeah, well, it's important.
Right.
It's important for people to realize what Dr. King stood for and what he can mean in each of our lives today.
Right.
And how we can pay that forward. Go ahead, please.
I would like to say this too. We hear a lot about the I Have a Dream speech in March, but it's one that we really kind of missed out on is the Poor People's Campaign. It was called like the biggest march nobody ever heard because MLK death overshadowed it.
Okay.
This was, they was planning it, and this was a march for everybody that was economically challenged to come together. And I think that's kind of important now because we got inflation going up. It's hard to find work or whatever the case may be. So this is kind of like a prime opportunity to kind of resurrect that energy, that spirit that he was trying to bring forward and bring everybody together under that umbrella.
Okay, so that was a march that he was planning when he was killed.
Right, when he was
shot and killed.
The Poor People Campaign.
The Poor People Campaign.
Right.
I will tell you, I've never learned much about it, so I'm going to do my job and go look it up.
Yeah,
and I'm going to do that before Monday.
It's very interesting when you read it.
Okay.
The gist of it.
Okay, so we got about a minute and a half left. What takes place at 11?
Okay.
That's the march.
Well, like I said, it's going to be an outside event.
Right.
We encourage everybody to come out. Usually we have, last year we did like a ride around, which was excellent.
Right.
We rode around and gave out stuff, and it was perfect. This year we're going to be doing the march.
Right. And the march is going to finish over at St. Luke's
St. Luke's. It's going to be an outside event.
Right.
Because of COVID.
Right.
We're going to give out some food.
Right.
Refreshments. I think my dad, Burnell Tarver, he's going to say some things.
Right.
And after that, we're going to disperse. And,
and we will have, police escorting the march, making sure we're going from MLK Park to St. Luke. It's
St. Luke.
Maybe a mile?
Yeah, maybe a mile.
So it's not too far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
very good. Well, and so we encourage people to come out. 10 o'clock, they can show up at MLK Park in Thibodaux. You're going to hear some very inspirational things. Hopefully, we'll be introduced to some of the winners of that contest. They're going to get to win some money.
Yeah.
It's a shout out. You can call as well to Chanel and get that information. And the march is around 11 o'clock.
Right.
Police escort's going to be outside, COVID safe and friendly, and it's going to finish at St. Luke. Guys, I can't thank you enough for coming on to share with us your history and more importantly about the challenge for other people to do the right thing.
Appreciate you.
All right, you got it. All right, guys, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A whole lot more local programming when we continue.